Arigho Larmour Wheeler Architects, a small practice based in both Belfast and Dublin. Our work started together with the design and refurbishment of houses. House in the Woods is important to us, not only for being one of our first projects, but for being our first standalone private house. It's also my family home. It has set the tone for much of our work, collecting our thoughts and attitudes to working in historic contexts, building within a landscape, testing ideas with the bricklayers on site, and finding ways to connect with the context through choice of materials. It's also allowed us to start implementing everything we've learned from previous mentors. And within this project, there are ideas about texture, light, view, and of course, people. We are always looking for opportunities to make social spaces to gather at edges under shelter.
Like many new practices working across Ireland, much of our work is involved with people's homes and how they live. And although each of our projects is different, the themes that House in the Woods set off are apparent in our other houses, and thinking about local materials, how they weather, approach to site constraints, the coastal context, microclimates, and orientation of openings. In our typically wet and drizzly climates, thinking about the connection between inside and outside preoccupies much of our time. And especially that space that is outside but sheltered is really important to us.
This is a new house, but a very different location on former farmland. We had the same desire to connect to the land, amplifying the positive characteristics of orientation and setting, and picking up on the simple forms of agricultural buildings which characterise the countryside in Ireland. We framed views at the end of circulation spaces, lengthening and extending the feeling of spaces by borrowing from the outside. We replaced social spaces in the warmth of south light and made quiet north-facing facade to the road for privacy.
This is one of our current projects, and these photographs were taken just last week. The concrete slab has since been poured. The project's challenging because it's nestled into a protected landscape, and our proposal stays low to allow previously obscured views across Dublin Bay to be opened up to the public, and so the house will become part of the landscape. The new house is formed as 3 pigmented concrete blocks connected by pockets of landscaped courtyards and framed views. And the new concrete takes its cue from the tones in the existing granite on site, which is a caramelly pink colour.
Alongside our domestic houses, we've been working on bigger buildings. The scale is bigger, but the themes or preoccupations are the same. We are working on a long-term master plan for a handmade guitar company. It was important for us to make their workplace have all the qualities we would expect from a private house. In the design of a housing development for retired people in an arts and crafts conservation area seen on the top right, we were thinking about shared places for casual conversation, the day-to-day ritual of walking to and from the local shops.
Alongside our practice work, we're all involved in many wider outreach activities. We've taught for 10 years in schools of architecture, which gives us the opportunity to encourage the next generation. And we enjoy contributing to public exhibitions, and we're invited to make pieces for both the Irish Embassy in London and the Royal Hibernian Academy in Dublin. And both pieces were made in collaboration with local carpenters using reclaimed Irish woods. The model on the left here was made with offcuts from the guitar factory we're working on.
In Ireland, opportunities to become involved in public projects are few and far between. So open architectural competitions offer the possibility of winning complex work through the basis of good, solid design thinking. So prior to setting up, together we worked on a number of competitions. We were awarded 2nd place in Europe Pan-Ireland and shortlisted in Europe Pan-Norway, which encouraged us that we were able to work remotely together and collaboratively.
The most significant competition we've worked on together so far was the international competition for the design of Ireland House, the new Irish Embassy in Tokyo, Japan. As part of stage 2, we pulled together an international design team to develop the proposal, and we were shortlisted alongside HJL, Grafton Architects, Hall McKnight and Graham Massey, and we were ultimately awarded 2nd place. The project presented an opportunity to explore all the themes we had been working on elsewhere, and we sought to capture the spirit of Ireland's heritage while celebrating aspects of shared cultural confluence with Japan, which we find in ideas about landscape, order, material and cultural narrative. We transposed the inherent logic and qualities of the Irish Georgian townhouse typology to Tokyo, and a simple organisation of social and private spaces informs not only the urban proposition, but the interior life of the building. For us, architecture is an opportunity to make things better, and we set out to make buildings which are useful and beautiful, and take pride in designing well-crafted buildings with a strong connection to their context.